listens to what the ambassadors' wants are, their needs are, because we're in the field. So we're the ones who are getting the feedback from people. We know what people need. And so anytime you have a suggestion or anything like that, it's always great to, put it out there to see if we can help in any way with that, because this launch it's been exciting, but yet it's been a business plan too, of where there was some things that we needed to have put forward that as Jules, we really did put ourselves out there, I guess, if you want to say it that way, and really just say, no, this is what, the field really does want. And so it's exciting times to be able to have that opportunity. And I had said this on the meeting the other night about how I think there was like 340 people on that meeting. And I was like, we are all part of history. And because I do believe that there's many people that have been part of this from day one who, as you work to build these teams and to learn and to grow and to do everything that we're doing, we are all going to be part of history. There's going to be Sheila Medina's on this panel that's going to be, forever known as somebody who first started out in Plexus. And I think that's just such a cool thing to think about. Who's going to be the Sheila Medina? Who's going to be the Sonia Dudleys? Who's going to be the Helen McFaddens? And, those people who are just front runners for Canada, because this is your time to shine. So I'm just super pumped and super excited about everything that's going to happen. I do have a slide presentation to show you, so I'm going to get that started, and hopefully I can do this without too much goofing up, because I am technically challenged by times. But I think, does that show, Tanya? Is that okay? Can you see that? I can't.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
Okay. If you're nodding, I can't see you because I can't see anybody. Okay, so I'm just going to work through the slides. I don't know if you can see me or not, but okay. So what does the Canadian launch mean? Basically, it means that products are going to now ship from Canada. So that means we're going to get products a lot quicker. They're going to be coming within 3 to 4 days, versus some people out in BC, I hear it takes 2 weeks for them to get their products. So this is a big deal for people, especially people who they're not those ones that get product regularly, and when they're out and they want it tomorrow. And so this is going to really help your customers and your ambassadors who are wholesale ambassadors. And then ambassadors can advertise and do shows and events. This is really, really going to be big for us, because when I first started into Plexus, we did not have all of the restrictions that we've really had within the last 9 months. So I was doing shows and I was presenting my product, and it was a big deal because you could get in front of 500 people on a Saturday and explain your products. And so at that time we could not resell. And so that always kind of kept me back from doing the shows a little bit. But now you can take, for example, your trial packs, or you can take a bag of Slim. I wouldn't suggest you go stocking up on all this product, but you certainly, when you do your shows now and your craft events, things like that, and you have those 7-day trials, that's going to be monumental to you and your business, because when you sell a trial pack from your table at a show, you're going to be able to capture people's their contact information. So it's going to give you one more time where you can get in front of somebody and they get to take something home, because many people at these shows are, they're buyers that buy on the spot. They want something to take home in their hand that day. So this is really going to benefit you. So as soon as the launch date is given, I would start scouring for different events and different shows where you can get in front of people and how you can really, get advertising your product out there. I wouldn't spend a lot of money on these shows. And one thing I will caution you on, because I've been involved in a lot of shows in the beginning stages, is that you will get some promoters of shows who will promise you the moon, and they'll say you'll get in front of 2,000 people and it'll blow your business up and all that. I would not be spending a lot of money on your shows. I would spend, the most I would spend would be $250 on a show, as long as you could sell product at that show to recoup your money. So you have to be really strategically business minded at those shows to make sure you recoup your money. Do not go in the hole to do events. But that is something that is very exciting about the launch, is that we are going to be able to do our shows and be able to sell product from the table. So we're going to be able to retail openly. So again, you can advertise that you have trial packs for sale, for example. With the retailing of product, I want to give you this caution though. You do not want to be retailing product out of your home. We're not going to become a retail business of where we're stocking product and selling it out of our home. That is actually not encouraged at all. When I talk about doing it at events, I mean simply by having trial packs, something to put in their hand that one time, sale, and then you send them to your website, because that's where you're going to make the most income, is from your preferred customer base or your wholesale ambassador base. But if you are somebody who's retailing out of your home and undercutting prices, that's not benefiting any of us. So that you will come across that as we launch into Canada, where people will start to do that. And it's up to us as ambassadors for our company to really make sure that we discourage that from anybody. We really do not want people retailing out of their home. That will bottom out the business, because what will happen in that case is people will start undercutting prices, thinking they're making money, when really when they were to tally it up at the end of the year, they really didn't come ahead much. But a whole lot of bother running around like, a makeup representative or something like that. That's not what we are. Plexus is so much different. So when I talk about retail sales, I'm talking about trial packs and those one-time sales to capture a contact information and then to send them back to your website. The ideal thing is to send them back to your website. So pricing will be in Canadian dollars, which is really going to be great. And how they're going to do this is they're going to say, for example, set the exchange rate with whatever it is for the average for the last 3 or 4 months, and set that price. And then each quarter, they're then going to take another look at it and evaluate if they have to put the price up or down according to what the exchange rate is for within that quarter. So that price will fluctuate, but as we've been seeing in the markets now, it doesn't go up or down too much, so it's not really going to probably affect the price too much. Ambassadors will still be paid in American funds, because that's done through Paylutions, which is a totally different setup than Plexus, and it will always be in U.S. funds, so we get to keep our U.S. pricing or U.S. funds commissions. And then products will have our natural product number approved by Health Canada, which is really big in the industry with supplements. If you turn any bottle on the back side and look at it, there's always natural product numbers. And this is something that everybody looks for when they're looking for supplements being sold in Canada. So this is a really big deal for us. And then also the bilingual packaging, the website and the literature is all ready to go. So it's going to be good for, if anybody has any French-speaking friends or family. If you have people in Quebec, for example, you're going to want to make sure you let them know that the French labeling is now in place, the website is in place, and we now have our literature, which that has held a lot of people back. So that's going to be really great for us. So the products that are approved right now are the Plexus Slim, the Edge, the Block, the Ease, the X Factor Plus, and the BioCleanse. And so these are the products that are now pre-approved. They're all ready to go. They will be coming, what's coming with the launch. And then we have a couple of other ones that are on the side of that they're still working to get the natural product numbers, just finishing up some last little things. And that's going to be the VitaBiome and the X Factor Children's. So then we have a couple of products that are not going to be coming to Canada. And one of them is the ProBio 5, but you're still going to be able to get it from Plexus on a separate order. So that's going to be a little bit funky. You're going to have to use your brain, your creative skills in how to market that to your customers, because as we have seen, I just did a post in the Opportunity of Hope, ProBio 5 is very much needed. And we really tried hard to keep it in Canada. But it is a product that has, it's the enzymes actually that are the hold up on it, because they're so special. And I always say this is how special that product is. There's nobody in Canada that has enzymes anywhere as near what's in that Probio 5. And so that's where, Health Canada they disapproved it, because they had no barometer to go by basically to gauge, that product. So, you might find later down the road that Plexus will reformulate something very close to it that is in working with Health Canada's guidelines. So that's been talked about, although it's not a firm thing right yet. But they definitely know that we need that product, and there's nothing we can do about it. It is the way it is. It'll have to come in on a double order when you order. So, for example, if you order the Slim and the Bio Cleanse, it'll come from Canada, but then the Probio 5 will have to come from the States. So it's just one of those things. If you have customers or wholesale ambassadors who are dedicated to that product, and we all have them. I have quite a few that are just absolutely dedicated to Probio 5. They will be willing to do that because it is such a special product for them. One thing I would suggest is too, that if you have people who are clients or ambassadors who are taking the Probio 5, that's just always what they've always taken, and never tried the VitaBiome, it's quite possible that the VitaBiome will be all that they need. If they never struggled with a candida issue, for example, myself, I've never had a candida issue. So, the VitaBiome is fine for me because it has everything in it that I need for my probiotics. So you could start looking and asking questions of your people and just seeing if they really do need the Probio 5, or maybe they could actually flip over to the VitaBiome. And then for welcome packs, we have 3 welcome packs, and we really put our heads together over these to come up with the welcome packs that were needed, keeping in guideline with what we had to offer for products that were coming with the launch. So the Slim Block P96 was one that was suggested for a weight loss product. So this could be something that, with the Slim and the Block in combination with P96 as a meal replacement, or, as a snack, it's definitely is set up to be a great product to start out with for somebody who's looking to lose some weight, just feel good, cut their carbs and sugar a little bit, and then also be introduced to our P96, which I love the P96, and we're getting a new chocolate flavor, which is supposed to be really, really good. So, this is a great welcome pack for that. The welcome pack number 2, the Slim Bio Cleanse and X Factor. This was kind of supposed to be kind of like the Triplex in a way, but of course we couldn't get the Probio 5. So this is what you would start them out with for somebody who needed the Triplex, but then you would upsell them on the Probio 5 as a second order at the exact same time they were ordering as an ambassador for the welcome pack number 2. And you just have to learn how to upsell and explain to them, why you need to have that as a separate order. It's all about knowing their need and knowing what they need and knowing how to word that to them so that they understand. And the X Factor Plus, actually with the probiotic in it, is a fabulous product too. I would even just start people on, like, at first when this came out, I was kind of like, how am I going to, do this? But then I got thinking about it. I would actually work with my new people just off of this, and then on their second order, get the Probio 5, because this is a great way to kind of launch into the Triplex without the detoxing, because you kind of get things started. And then once they get some, detoxing happening, a gentle detox, then they could work on the Probio 5 on their second order. So it's just going to take some working very close with your ambassadors and customers. And then the number 3 was one of my favorites. It was a Slim, Ease, and X Factor. So definitely somebody who has inflammation, this is a great product for them. But it's also a great weight loss product too, because you have the Slim and the Ease, which has the anti-inflammatory, and then the X Factor Plus, which is going to give you that great absorption, up to 300 times more of your products, your nutrients, your minerals and vitamins, everything. So this is a really great welcome pack. I would suggest for somebody also who wants to lose weight and just feel really, really great. So our launch cities, Fredericton, Ottawa, London, Winnipeg, Edmonton, and Vancouver are the launch cities that have been chosen, and I think they're all really, really great. I would suggest that, if you know anybody in those cities, around those surrounding areas, even within 4 hours drive, I'm going to get to as many of them as possible. If they're staggered dates, I'm going to try to get to as many as possible where I have a team member, ambassadors growing there in that area. And so this is a really great time to be thinking, who do you know in these cities? And also, where are you going to be? What city are you going to? For those who are in New Brunswick, I assume you're going to be in Fredericton, but I've already been reaching out to people in London, telling them that, if you get a bunch of people coming there, I'm going to be there myself. And so I know I'm going out to Vancouver if the dates are staggered. So if they happen all on the same day, I'll be in Fredericton too, because I think we'll be having quite a big party wherever we're all at. So what can you do with the launch happening? A lot of people are sitting back and they're thinking, I'm just going to wait for the launch date to happen. I'm not going to do anything now. I'm just going to wait and see how things are. And I always say, hustle now. And I've been hustling for almost 4 years. And I think that now is a time to really, really put the hustle on. And I like this quote. It said, hustle until your haters are asking if you're hiring. Because once Plexus launches and we really get this thing going the way it was intended to always be run, things are really going to start to take off very quickly. And you don't want to wait for the launch date for that to happen before you all of a sudden decide that you're going to kick into gear and start, reaching out to people. You want to lay the groundwork now. So you want to get your firm foundation set now. You never know who you have on your team that's just kind of sitting back waiting, that's waiting for that nudge from their leader to say, you know what, let's get going now. Like, let's get talking to people now and create the excitement, create the momentum. Building a team, this is what I've observed over the last few years, is once you get the momentum going, it takes off like crazy. But it's to get the momentum going that is the hard part. And the momentum doesn't happen unless you have some cheerleaders on your team who are really dedicated, just super pumped. They see the vision, they know what's going to happen, and they're not waiting for the launch date. They want to have their team ready now, because when you have that team ready now and then you get into launch phase, your team is going to like double, quadruple, like just skyrocket, because you've already got these people who are just, almost like horses, like panting to get to the barn. It's just like, it's going to happen, but you have to get that team going now. You don't want to sit back and just say, I'm going to wait and be cautious. I'm going to wait and see what's going to happen. Just do it now. That's my best advice as I can give you, is just do it now and get out and help people to understand what we have for this vision. You can research, make a list of who you know in Canada. Look at those cities. Who do you know in those cities? Even though you might not be able to get to those cities yourself, really get with those people, your friends and family, and say, listen, I want you there. I need you to be there to hear this, because this is going to be amazing for you. And even if you have to, get friends with other friends that don't even know each other, but get people together who are like-minded in the same city and just hook them up with people. Like, call Sally and say, Sally, I've got Kathy coming in. She's going to sit with you in the meeting. Like, make sure you're there. She's going to meet you there. Get your networking going of where you're reaching out to people and really connecting people together so they understand that we are doing something exciting. And if you sit back and you think, oh, she might not want to go to that meeting, you can't prejudge that way. You have to let people make their own decision. The only way they can make that decision is if you put the question out to them, can you get to this meeting because it's that important you get there. So expand your list of who your contacts are and who you know. Set a goal of how many people you would like to reach out every week. So, like I have a typical goal of reaching out to 3 people a day. That's pretty much been my standard. When I'm really working my business, if I'm not working my business, which does happen from time to time, there's a definite, you can see when I don't work my business that things die down. As soon as I start working my business again, it picks back up. So set a goal. How many people are you going to talk to each week about the launch, about how excited you are and what's going to be happening? So you want to really make sure that you stick to your goals and that you follow through on them. Commit to a defined amount of time per week in your calendar to work your list and add to the list weekly with new people. So as we're, talking to people, you will also want to be, every name that comes into your funnel of wherever you might be out and about. Like today, I think I wrote down, I'm looking at my list, I wrote down 4 names today of people in conversation that I had who just happened to mention different names to me. And for whatever reason it was, and I wrote them in my book of no's to start following them and building that relationship. And so you have to set aside time to really be working your business. If it's, in increments of 15 minutes throughout the day, 4 times a day, for an hour, do it that way. If you have an hour that you can set aside and do your business, this business does not take long at all. It's basically reaching out to 3 people a day. That works out to 21 people a week. It's amazing what the growth in the activity you can see when you get those people in your funnel and you get them rolling down through, how there's a constant amount of people circulating. Like my list is huge now because there's a constant rollover of people. But if you don't set aside that time and you allow other things in your day to get in the way, then time quickly, as we all know, just slips away on us. So, for me, TV is not an option. I don't watch TV very, very rarely. There's not much on it I need to watch anyways. So, things like TV are not an option. Somebody asked me if I was doing an activity today that was kind of I just looked at her and I said, well, no, I don't have time to do that. Why would I want to do that? So I'm very selective in where I put my hobby time because my business is that important to me, especially at this phase of our business, because we are on the hinge of what we've been waiting for almost 4 years. I'm not going to let this huge momentum that we're going to see just slip by because I was watching some silly show on TV or whatever. I'm really out building relationships. I was to a big event last week and just met new people. Didn't even mention Plexus, and I probably won't mention Plexus for quite a long time with them. But I've met some really great new people that have been, already have developed that friendship with them. And so just get out and meet new people, expand your network, and really keep your ear to the ground of people that could use this opportunity, that could use our products, and just write them in your book and just kind of keep a running list of who's who. I usually jot notes down beside my people so I know, who they're connected to or how I met them, or just little memory joggers. And it's amazing how they help you to remember who they are. And now's the time to be doing that. So write down your why. I guess my why, that's kind of funny. My why is missing off this. But write down your why. Success follows when you define what inspires you, motivates you, and fires you up. So success follows when you define what inspires you, not what inspires your family, not what inspires your kids, not what inspires your husband. It's what inspires you. What is your drive? Why are you doing this? And why do you want to succeed at it? You need to really pull away the layers of the onion when you look at that in yourself, because if your why is not deep enough, if it's just kind of a surfacey, like I hear it a lot where I hear a lot of people say, I just want to have more money for my family, which is great. That's kind of like touching on your why. You need to dig a little bit deeper as to why you want more income for your family. But the first time your kid sasses you or you're mad at your husband, you probably couldn't care less if you had a little extra money to help them with whatever it is, because in the moment you get upset and you're like, oh, that's it, I'm done with this because nobody appreciates what I'm doing anyways. So you've got to dig deep into your why as to why you're doing this. For myself, when I first started out, I was not going to be working 2 waitressing jobs as I became a single woman. I left a job that was paying me $17 an hour, and I knew I did not have the education to make it like I needed to make it. And so my why scared me to death. I had to do this business, and there was no way out of me not doing it, because I saw it as the best opportunity for what I could do with what I knew. And what I knew was building relationships with people and loving people. And so if I had that figured out, I just had to get that why down and to really connect with that was what was going to happen if I didn't continue. And so it held me strong. It really did, through the tired moments, through the late nights. People used to message me all the time, 2:00 in the morning. How come you're still up? And I'm working my business. And so when you know your why and you're connected to it and it scares you to death, you will stay true to why you're doing it. Because I will always believe that Plexus has the best opportunity for us. We have the best compensation plan. We have the best team to work with who are so supportive, and they're there for each other. And we're living in a moment that I don't think many of us are ever going to forget. So I'm just going to leave you with that, and I'm going to turn it over to Tanya, because she has some amazing tips for you too of how to get your people to events. And thank you so much. I just have to get out of here now. Just give me one moment.
Thanks, Krista.
Oh, you're welcome. There you go.
Awesome. Thank you very much. That was great. And such great advice. And I really like hearing you talk about the why so much. Not because our whys are necessarily the same, but just the passion and conviction with which you speak. And I think that's great advice that you're giving us about, it has to be deeper than just, I want to make a little bit of extra money for my family. Why do you, So thank you so much. I'm just tagging on the end of Krista's PowerPoint. So I'm just going to share my screen real quick, and I don't have a great long, ooh, baby, where'd my thing go? I don't have a great long presentation, but I do have to find it. 1 second here. 1 sec. Sorry, guys. There we go. Now I'm going to be able to do it. Okay. Maybe. That's not cooperating. So you know what? I'm not even going to worry about it. I've got some notes, and I'm just going to go with those so I don't waste your time, okay? Events. For those of you who have been with us for a period of time, i.e. before compliance became such an issue, and we could not, and we're no longer allowed to talk about product or promote events or even hold events. You might remember back to a time, and I make it sound like I've been here for a long time. It's only been a year and a half ago. I actually joined Julie in Fredericton at my very first event, which was a corporate opportunity event, which is what this is, except this is even bigger and better. All these events that are going to be taking place in our major cities. And it was at that opportunity meeting that I really decided to really go with the business. So Julie and I had been talking about it. I was watching what was happening on Krista's team page at that time, just kind of trying to figure it all out as a product, as a consumer, okay? And going there, I just got this fire. There's something that you get from going to a big event like this, and you getting your people to go to big events like this, that is absolutely attitude changing or confirming, whichever. So if the person's a fence sitter about the business, it can ignite what they need to get going. And if the person is, maybe they're thinking, I'm just going to go with my friend to this thing, it can be the thing that really changes everything for them. So we used to have an event culture, I'm going to call it, which is a term that's widely used in network marketing. And we kind of had to get away from it not by choice. Because as you know, if you've been around for a while, we used to have events often, and we would fill rooms in hotels with people. And then afterward, part of that culture was team culture, which was we would get together and go out, and there would be pictures, splashed all over social media. And that was attractive for your prospects as well, who were watching you and maybe not speaking out a whole bunch. So it's important that we start working now. We know the importance of filling our funnel on a day-to-day basis with new people, and how they eventually, whether it's 30, 60, 90, 100 days from now, they decide, you know what, I'm going to do it. I mean, there are people on this call who joined me who did that. And so you're nodding up and down. I can see you. Yeah, there's one right there. So you know what? The same holds true for this. That's why, like Krista said, we need to start promoting this now. Okay. So I want to talk to you just about a couple of topics. And the first one is why people don't show up when you invite them to events. Okay. So I want to talk to you about the word promotion I just mentioned a few minutes ago. When we promote things, that doesn't mean we send a message that's generic to a bunch of people and never follow up. Okay. If you really want to get behind this and you really want to promote this properly, yes, you're going to post it on social media. You're going to post your excitement in different ways. We're going to get really creative and do that. But you want to really and truly engage with each person, sending an audio message, calling them on the phone. Those are probably the most personal ways that you can have a conversation with somebody, because ultimately, people don't want to disappoint you. And if you send them a little message, they're going to be like, yeah, sure. But guess what? They were never going to come. They're just being nice. And they say it to get rid of you. It's just the truth. And it's probably happened to you for lots of other things in your life too, not just corporate events with Plexus. So how do we get people to show up then? We have to convey, and Krista, you said it, we have to convey value to them. Why do you opt into stuff online, for example, to a webinar? Why do you opt into a webinar on network marketing? Because it's free, and because you keep seeing this person repetitively over and over again who are presenting you with something of value. So that's what we need to be doing in order to get people to show up. So in order to do this, I'm just looking down at my notes here. You don't want them to go home after work and go, yeah, you know what? They won't miss me. Like, you don't want them to be doing that. You want them to be coming out for this event. So in order to do that, these are some things you need to do. You need to be enthusiastic when you're talking to people, okay? And that enthusiasm needs to be obvious. So you don't want to give them little, don't apologize. Don't make excuses for why they shouldn't go to your event because you're nervous to ask them to go, okay? Be enthusiastic. This is the best thing ever. And this is a once ever event, guys. We're only ever going to launch in Canada once.
That's true.
So use those, Sean's like, that's true. But use those words. This is a once ever event. I'll repeat it again. This is a once ever event. And I'm recording this if you want to go back after. So enthusiasm. Don't say, if you want to swing by, we're having this meeting. I know it's short notice, or we don't have the date yet, but don't make excuses. Don't give people the opportunity to say no to you. Don't give them a reason. Are you expecting them to say no? Like, don't give them a reason to say no. And it just justifies people in their no, okay? You get pumped up before you contact them. If you're feeling down in the dumps, or if you just yelled at your kids, not that I've ever done that, but if you just yelled at your kids, or if you've just, I don't know, had a bad day at if you have a job, if you've had a bad day there, that's not the time for you to do that. You got to switch your gears and change your mindset and find what can work for you that way. Like some people love to go for a power walk, or maybe just listening to some music to get pumped up. Whatever it is, be ready so that you're in that mindset. So enthusiasm is huge. Energy behind that. Like right now, as I'm talking to you guys, I'm not kind of like, oh, ho hum, these meetings would be fabulous. I'm really energetic about this. I'm excited about this. And I want us to do all collectively really, really well with this. Urgency, again, this once ever event, and make it into a huge deal. Like, you need to get out to this event. I know you've got something going on Tuesday night. I promise this trumps that. You've got to get out to this event. This is only going to happen once. And the amount of incredible things that are going to happen at this event they're exclusive to the people who come. This is a special thing. You've got to be there. Using that language with people is really important. If somebody put it that way to me, I'd be like, man, I got to go. Like, this is important. Provide people with compliments when you're reaching out to them. Whether it's, the reason that I think that you would be good at this is, and I need you to come out to this meeting because, okay? So Eric Worre, you guys probably all know who he is. In his trainings, he uses the if I, would you method. It's sort of his big thing. And if you watch any of his training, then you're going to hear him talk about that a lot with his GoPro and with all of his Network Marketing Pro stuff. So if I invited you to this thing, would you join me? So I just have a couple of little things to throw your way here, just for food for thought. So providing somebody with that compliment and saying, I remember when we were in high school and you were the guy who got the stuff done, or you were the girl who was so super organized and people really enjoyed being in your presence because you made that club so important and so great for our school. Like, any connective tissue that you can think of as an opener for that person, and say, and that's why I really want to get you out to this meeting with me. And if I invited you, would you come to this meeting that's going to be in Winnipeg at the, whatever hotel at 7 p.m.? Would you come out for that meeting? And if you provide that person with that, they're probably going to say yes, because remember what I said at the beginning, people don't want to disappoint you, or they just want to get rid of you, okay? So they're probably going to say yes. Ask them, go a little step further. Do you know where the hotel is? And offer to send them directions, okay? And they're probably going to say, okay, sure, yeah, I'll take some directions. And, I just want to ask you, like, are you going to go straight from work? Are you going to go home first? Are you going to, like, how much, and they're probably going to say, well, I'm going to go from home. I'm going to go home, get changed, or have some supper. Well, how far from your house is the meeting? Because how much time are you going to need? So what time are you planning on leaving for the meeting? Because I'd like to meet you there, or I'm going to have a friend meet you there about, 15 minutes before it starts, just, so we can catch up a little bit, or you can connect with my person who's going to be there. And then you guys can attend the meeting together, because wouldn't that be nice to have somebody there that you knew if you can't personally make it yourself? And then, they're probably going to say yes. And then you can say, listen, you know what? I'm going to call you the day before just to connect with you, to confirm with you. And all you've got is yeses all the way down the tube. And when you call them for that follow-up, man, it's going to be the rare person who's not going to go with you to that meeting, or who's not going to meet up with your friend Kathy at the meeting. Okay. So I would strongly recommend doing that. And if you feel funny about it, just give it a try. Listen to the pumped up music and then do it. Okay. Or go for the walk and then do it. The last point I want to talk about tonight is getting your teams out. This is so important. I talked about team culture and event culture within your teams. This is really important. And I'm not just talking about this event. I'm talking about all the events that are going to be happening. And this can be everything from a living room sip and see to this corporate once ever event. We need to get people out for this stuff. And you've got to decide as a leader on your team, you need to decide that this is important. Because if you don't lead that way, your team will not go. They won't follow that. and it's going to be the rare teammate that is a really strong leader in themselves, and they're just going to pick it up and say, fine, I'm going to do it my way because I really want to be there with my people, right? So you really have to show that importance. And as a leader, you need to be more committed than everybody else. And it's the same in teaching. I say it all the time. Like, if I want my students to be half as excited about this piece of music as I am, then I got to be 150 if I want them to be 75. And that's just the way it is. And your team is the same. If you don't have a big team, that doesn't matter. You're leader to one person. Get that one person out. That person could be your absolute rock star. And, like, that's really important to think about too. Demonstrate the commitment. So don't just say you're committed. Don't just say you're going to do it. Demonstrate it. Have incentives for people to register early. Maybe have a dinner for the first 25 people who register, or have shout outs on your team page as people are registering, or have a pinned post at the top of your team page that says, who's registered. And Krista does this a lot on different pages with us, just with, who's got the plan or who's doing the thing. So that would be something for you to do on your team page. Intensity. The intensity of all of this is super, super important. And repetition. Don't just say it once. You got to say it a bunch of times, and you got to hit it many different ways. So a post on the team page, a video on the team page, tagging your team members in social media posts, talking to your team members, having group chats with your leaders, being super focused on that repetition, and having a verbal commercial so that your people know what it means. So, we're going to do things other people aren't willing to do to get things done that other people don't have, or get things that other people don't have. We're going to do really big things by doing this event. And this is what's going to happen for us. That's very important. Having a vision, Krista mentioned vision, having that vision, here's where we're headed. This is what is going to happen if we do these things. And having that game plan as a team. Telling stories. And I want to just mention a couple of last things. Be inclusive of everybody on your team when you're doing this. Everybody's important, whether they just signed up or whether they are, a big person on your team in terms of having a huge downline. That doesn't matter. You want to include everybody in this. Everybody is equally important in this. And recognizing people as you go through. And lastly, you don't need guests to go. So if you don't have a guest to go to an event, you go anyway, because you're going to get the fire from going to the event. So it's a win-win all the way around. And lastly, I just want to say, when we have meetings and people get fired up, meetings make money. And I would go back to my story from the beginning and tell you that was me. I went to the meeting and decided to run fast. So there you go, right? So that's all I have for tonight in terms of that. If you have any questions or if there's anything that I talked about tonight that wasn't clear, please let me know. But I appreciate your attention, and I hope that helps you guys really ignite and get really inspired to go out there and just rip this up. Just go.
I just want to say one more thing, Tanya.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to go to a meeting now. Because we always have so much fun at the meetings too. I know that when we go to them afterwards, everybody's just like, you can feel the energy and everybody's happy, and I cannot wait to start doing the meetings again. So definitely it's going to be a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And thank you so much. You did an amazing job. I'd love to see your notes.
Just ask Suzette. My notes are always really messy.
Yeah, no, they're great. Oh, wow. You did really good.
Thank you, though.
Yeah. Thank you so much for organizing this, too.
No trouble. All right. Thanks, guys.
See you later, everybody.
I did record. I'll post.
Awesome.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.